Welcome to the Lady Up America podcast. I'm Diane, Canada, your host, and I am so glad you're here today. In case you didn't know, it is November 5th. It is Election Day 2024. I don't have to tell you, I'm sure. I know we're all tired of the ads. We're tired of being bombarded with emails and text messages. We want to put this to bed. We want this behind us. But here's the thing that scares me today, all right? That of the 80-some million Christian registered voters, over half of you plan to sit home today and not vote. My goal today, to change your mind. Be right back.
Around this town, around this town, victory on the battleground, we claim it now. Lady up, lady up. Lady up, lady up.
All right, ladies, welcome back. Okay. We just can't have it, y'all. We can't have half of us sitting home. What I'm hearing is that we have three major reasons why people are going to sit home. One, they don't feel like their vote's going to count anyway, that it's all rigged. Two, they feel like that the rapture's coming any minute and all this evil needs to be ushered in order for Jesus to come back. So I'm just going to sit home and pray. Three, you don't like Trump, or you don't feel like he's taking a strong enough stand on issues you care about, and so you just can't bring yourself to vote for him. Okay. I get it. If I can make a compelling enough argument, would you please consider changing your mind and going to vote? I'm begging you. Here's what I want to say about it. We are never going to have a perfect person. We're never going to have a perfect scenario, because we are an imperfect person. We are imperfect people in a fallen world. The only perfect person was Jesus Christ, and he was perfectly God and perfectly man. And so we can't hold a human being to that standard. Throughout the Bible, it is littered with imperfect people, because that's all that exists, where God used them for his purposes. He took people who had seeded pasts. He had people who had violent pasts, even people that crucified Christians, persecuted Christians, and put them in positions of power after they'd had a change of heart. Okay, so we have to come up with a better excuse than those three that we have. All right, so let's walk through them real quick. Number one, my vote's not going to count. Why should I even bother? All right. God tells us to do everything that we do unto him. We can't control the shenanigans. We can't control the outcomes, but we have a responsibility to show up and do what we are supposed to do. Our founding fathers, our veterans, our Gold Star families who have empty seats at the table, we owe it to them to go and exercise the privilege that they gave us to be able to vote. That's what I'm saying. We don't want to spit on their graves. We don't want to minimize or diminish the unbelievable sacrifices that they made to give us that freedom. So whatever happens at the election commission or in the Congress, or whatever happens from here, we don't have control over that. But what we do have control over is whether or not we show up and do our part. And so we've got to get to the polls. We've got to cast our votes, whatever the outcome. Now, I will tell you this, just to give a little bit of hope, that we have hawk eyes on the election integrity this year. Because of everything that played out in 2024 and everyone's suspicion of all of the cheating that happened in 2024, and I am of the belief that there was a lot of it, okay? With all of that and us understanding how much is on the line this election season, the RNC has got watchdogs like you just can't even believe. I get these, I'm on these text threads from kind of inside political circles, and I'm getting text all day long of another lawsuit filed, another lawsuit ruling that was in our favor. We've had people trying to keep Republicans out of the poll watching, out of their duties as poll watchers at the precincts. We've had people trying to keep them out. And there was just an incident that happened. I think it was this morning, might have been yesterday or this morning, where they fought it. And now those Republicans are able to go in and watch the election process and watch the voting and watch the counting, but they were trying to keep them out. But I'm telling you, these lawsuits are coming like clockwork. So the RNC is on top of it. And it's so interesting to me how all the cheating seems to be from the left. I mean, it's just so interesting. But they are catching it. Okay. So I don't think we're going to see them get away with the same shenanigans that they pulled in 2020. But again, regardless of the outcome, we have a responsibility and we have the privilege and we have the honor of getting, as a citizen, to get up and go cast our vote. If you just do it for the founding fathers, the veterans, those Gold Star families, if you do it for them, great. But we have to do it unto God too. So get up and go vote. All right. Second reason why you're sitting it out is you think the rapture is here. All this evil needs to be ushered in. You're just going to sit home and pray. Okay. I'm with you on believing that we are in the end of the end times. I do believe that. I do think that the prophecies have been fulfilled, that we are seeing. God said nobody would know the day or the hour, but we would know the season. I think we are absolutely in the season. Okay. So I'm with you on that. However, when Jesus comes back, we want him to catch us at the plate, swinging for the rafters, not sitting in the dugout, biting our nails, or even just sitting in the dugout praying. We need to be on the field. And here's a couple of compelling reasons why. Evil is encroaching. It is on our doorstep now. It is in our homes now. We absolutely cannot just sit out and turn a blind eye. We are, as salt and light of the world. Jesus commanded us to be that light and to push that evil back. There are famous quotes out there that the only thing necessary for evil to flourish is for good men to do nothing. Okay. So we don't have the luxury of sitting home and hiding our light. We have to be out pushing that evil back. So we also have to think about souls that need to be won to Jesus still. When Jesus comes back in the rapture, that's great for those of us who are already in relationship with him. That's great. I can't wait. I'm excited to go. I'm excited to see him. But I don't want anybody that I know or love to be left behind here. So when God says, go about doing my business until I return, that's a lot of what we need to do. We can't just sit back and go, well, me and my family are going, so we're good. What about these people that are surrounding you that are headed for hell? You know, we need to be out trying to win them and demonstrating to them the importance of what we believe and showing up at the polls in order to demonstrate that more fully. The light of the church cannot be hidden. We need to be out in society and pushing that darkness back. Okay. So that kind of ruins your whole second reason, doesn't it? Okay. So third reason is you just don't like Trump. You just can't bring yourself to vote for him. He's not righteous enough. He's not taking a strong enough stand in areas that you care about, in areas I care about. Okay. I'll just tell you, when it comes to the abortion issue, I'm with you. I am 100% pro-life. The only exception, and it wouldn't be abortion, it would just be a self-defense thing. If a baby's like ectopic pregnancy, something like that, where the mother's going to die, that's a whole different scenario. Okay. But other than that, I am 100% pro-life. I am with you. I wish, and I believe that Trump is pro-life. Okay. But I know he has made statements where he said the 13-week is the compromise because we have to get consensus. We got to get elected. And, you know, if you've got a society that is so far over here and you're so far over here, then we don't have a chance of getting elected so he can get in and do some good. I understand where Trump's coming from. I don't have to agree with him to go vote for him. And here's why. We're not voting for the lesser of evils. Okay. We can't look at it like that. Again, as the church, we have to vote for the person that is most aligned with our biblical worldview. Maybe he's not perfectly aligned, but by sitting home and not voting, we run a risk of pure evil, which that party is pure evil, gaining more ground in our country, gaining more ground in our homes and in our children's lives. We've lost 60 million children on our watch, you guys. And I know you know that because I know you care about it. 60 million children. Under Trump's administration, he appointed conservative justices that overturned Roe v. Wade. It's not a cop-out on Trump's part to return it to the states. It should have never been a federal issue to begin with because it's not in the Constitution. Anything not specifically mentioned in the Constitution is a state issue. States decide. I personally wish we could have a federal ban on it. I do. Outside of a threat to the mother's life. I personally wish we could. but I understand that the authority belongs to the states, the way our republic is set up. And Trump is most aligned. On the other end, we have their policies are abortion up to and even after birth. I can't even go there. I can't even go there in my mind. Okay. So Trump's not perfect. He's not 100% on board with our pro-life stance, but he's the closest. And God uses, again, I'll remind you, imperfect people, and we don't have to agree with everything, but his principles and his policies are the closest to our biblical worldview. Her policies and lack of principles are the furthest away from biblical principles. I know a lot of you will say, well, I have to answer to God on why I voted a certain way. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Sitting home, sitting it out, riding the bench this season, and allowing that evil to come in. That's not God's plan for our lives. You know, he wants us to be engaged in the culture. He wants us as our light to drive that evil and that darkness out. So we got to go vote Trump. You're not voting personality. You're not voting his experiences, his past, all of that. You're voting his principles and his policy when it comes to running our government. Everything that he stands for politically is the closest in alignment to biblical worldview that we have in an imperfect world with an imperfect man. All right. So please go vote. Please go vote. If you don't vote as a Christian, we are literally handing our children and our grandchildren over to Marxists. You want to talk about having to answer to God? He gave us this country. He's blessed us so much. Our founding fathers gave up everything for us to have this freedom, this republic. Our veterans have fought and bled and died on battlefields to secure our freedoms. And we're just going to ride the bench and sit it out? No, you're not. You're not going to do that. Not on my watch. I want you to go vote. Make your plan. If you live in Tennessee, you can download it. It's be super easy for you. Like you're saying, well, it's the last minute. If you're changing your mind, it's the last minute. I want to go vote, but I don't know how, I don't know where. Okay. Go to your app store if you live in Tennessee and download the Go Vote TN app. Go Vote TN. And it will give you put in your zip code and it will give you your exact polling location on where you can go vote. You have till around 7:00 tonight to go do it. Swing by on your way home from work, swing by on your lunch break, whatever you can do, but go cast your vote. It'll give you your polling location and who's on your ballot. Please vote Trump and Republicans down the line. If you live in another state, you're listening to me, you probably have a similar app in your state. You can find it usually on your Secretary of State's website. So you can just Google, who's my Secretary of State in, I don't know, Alabama. And it'll come up and you can go to that site and it will tell you how to go about voting. Also, you can also Google your election commission in your county, election commission, and it will give you all the details that you need to go vote today. So lady up and go vote. I am praying. I am praying for you. I am praying for our country. I am praying for Trump. I am praying for a landslide today. And not only for politically speaking, but for our children and our grandchildren. I am praying for a return, a mass revival back to Christ. If he gets in there and we have the opportunity now to speak freely again without censorship, to be able to express our biblical worldview more openly in the public square without being shunned and called racist and all this stuff and called all these horrible names, Nazis, all this stuff that they call us. We have somebody who gets in there where it's safe again to express how we feel without being canceled or fired or all these things. We get somebody in there that is a believer where we then can flourish again as Christians. We have such a chance to return our country to God so that he can heal our land. If that doesn't happen, if you ride the bench and you sit home, which I hope I've already convinced you not to, if she gets in, we will be Marxist in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Every policy that she has is heading us straight toward Marxism. And it is the most evil, tyrannical form of government that you can imagine. You can't sit this one out, guys. We have a responsibility to God. We have a responsibility to our founding fathers, our veterans, our Gold Star families, and to our children and grandchildren. Go vote. Lady up.
Around this